Hello, my name is Alejandra, and today I will talk about the production of clothing as a real work system, breaking it down into its core components, inputs, outputs, and feedback mechanisms. By analyzing this process, we gain insight into how various industries transform raw material into finished products that we all rely on daily. Clothing production is a complex system that involves multiple steps, stakeholders, and stages of refinement. In its simplest, we can view it as a process that takes raw material like cotton, polyester, or wool and turn them into garments that are ready for use and sale. However, this process involves far more than just materials. It requires labor, technology, logistics, and feedback loops to maintain efficiency and quality. Let's break down this system by examining its input, output, and feedback mechanisms. Let's first talk about inputs. Everything needed to start and sustain this production system. Including manufacturing, the primary inputs can be divided into raw material, human resources, technology, and capital. Number 1. Raw material. The most obvious inputs are the raw materials from which clothing is made. This includes natural fibers like cotton, wool, and silk, as well as synthetic fibers like polyester, nylon, and spandex. Each type of material requires specific processes for preparations. For instance, cotton must be harvested, cleaned, and spun into yarn before it can be woven or knitted into fabric. Number 2. Human resources. Skilled labor is essential for turning this raw material into finished clothing. Workers are involved in every stage, from sewing and cutting to quality control and packaging. The human input extends from design teams creating patterns and prototypes to factory workers operating machinery and supervisors ensuring production runs smoothly. Number 3. Technology and machinery. Today, clothing industry is high mechanized. Machines are required for weaving, knitting, dyeing, and cutting fabrics with precision and speed. Automation is also playing an increasing role as technology like 3D knitting machines and robotic arms help reduce labor costs and improve efficiency. Number 4. Capital. Financial investment is a vital input for manufacturing process. Capital is required to purchase machinery, rent factory space, buy raw material in bulk, and pay wages. Without sufficient capital, the entire process can stall or be unsustainable. Other critical inputs include logistics, such as transportation and warehousing, and energy to power the machines and production plants. Outputs of clothing production systems. Now let's move to the outputs, the final products of the system. Outputs aren't limited to physical clothing we wear. They also include byproducts and environmental impacts. Finished clothing products. The primary input is, of course, the garments themselves. These range from everyday wear like t-shirts and jeans to more specialized clothing such as athletic wear, formal attire, and outdoor gear. Each of these categories demand different manufacturing processes, materials, and techniques. Economic outputs. The clothing industry is a major contributor to the global economy. It creates employment for millions and contributes to the GDP of many countries, especially those where garment production is a major industry, such, such as China, Bangladesh, and Vietnam. The sale of clothing also generates tax revenue for governments. Number 3. Byproducts and waste. Every production process generates waste, and the clothing industry is no exception. Textile wastes include scraps from cotton fabric and defective products. Is one of the major outputs of this system. Furthermore, chemical waste from dyeing and finishing processes is an additional output, contributing to environmental pollution if not properly managed. Environmental impact. In addition to physical waste, the clothing production process emits greenhouse gases, uses large amounts of water, and often leads to water pollution due to the chemicals used in dyeing and finishing textiles. This means that one of the unintended outputs of the system is its environmental footprint. Feedback in the clothing production system. Feedback mechanisms are critical for ensuring that a system remains efficient, competitive, and responsive to changing conditions. In the clothing production system, feedback loops can come from several different sources. Market demand. The most immediate feedback comes from the marketplace. If certain styles or designs are not selling, manufacturers and retailers must adjust their production strategies quickly. This feedback is often in the form of sales data, customers reviewing, and trend analysis. For example, if a brand realizes that eco-friendly clothing in a high demand, it might adjust its inputs by sourcing sustainable materials and promoting more ethical production practices. Quality control. During the production process, feedback on the product quality is essential. Factories usually have terms dedicated to ensuring that garments meet specified standards before they are shipped out. Defects, misstitches, or incorrect sizings require immediate correction, and the process must be refined to prevent these issues from recurring. Supply chain feedback. Suppliers provide feedback regarding the ability and cost of raw material. For example, if cotton prices skyrocket due to a poor harvest season, manufacturers may need to adjust their inputs by opting for alternative materials or delaying production. Similarly, delays in reviewing raw material or machinery breakdowns provide critical feedback that can affect production timelines. Sustainability initiatives. Increasingly, feedback from the environmental organizations and government regulations also influence how clothing is produced. Brands receive feedback on their sustainability efforts and are encouraged or mandated to reduce waste, minimizing water usage, and decrease emissions. In turn, these pressures drive changes in how the industry approaches production. In conclusion, to summarize, the production of clothing is a dynamic system that involves multiple inputs such as raw materials, labor, and technology. It provides not only finished garments but also waste and economic benefits. Most importantly, feedback mechanisms, ranging from market trends to quality control, are vital in refining the process and ensuring that the system remains viable, efficient, and responsive to external changes. By understanding the inputs and outputs and feedback loops in clothing system production, we gain a deeper appreciation of the complexity behind the clothes we wear and the far reaching impact of this global industry. Thank you so much for listening, and this was my speech.